Welcome to the installation video of the Dexter board that will convert your Spectrum DX7 into FPV capable device using the Head Track R2. You have the Dexter board, cable 1, cable 2, cable 3, 2 installation screws, a 7/64 inch drill bit that you'll need to supply, and we recommend using a step bit to cut the 1/2 inch hole to mount cable 3. Also a Phillips head screwdriver to take off the back of the DX7, and you'll be ready to go. Alright, we're going to start by removing the battery cover of the DX7. Set that aside. Now remove the battery. Make sure that there's no power to the radio while we make this modification. Now remove all 6 screws in the back shell of the DX7. Careful not to lose the screws. Now we have it open. Now you're going to locate the DX7 controller board, which is this green board down at the bottom. This plug that comes in from the transmitter module plugs into CN12, connector 12. We're going to gently remove that. Place it up here, out of the way. You're going to take cable 1 and plug it into the connector right next to it, which is connector 11 on the controller board, DX7. You're going to take the Dexter board, plug in cable 1 into the 4-pin connector that's labeled power in. It's your first connection to the Dexter board. Take cable 2, you can plug it into DX7 in connector on the Dexter board, and the other end into the controller board, connector 12, from the cable you just removed. Just gentle pressure to push those in. Now take the transmitter cable that comes from the module and put it into the other side of the Dexter board, into the connector labeled transmitter out, TX out, and you've made all but the last connection to the Dexter board. When you mount it, it's going to end up being flipped upside down, and we're going to use double sticky tape later to stick it on the back shell. Now the next thing we need to do is modify the battery cover to accept cable 3. The mini DIN connector that goes on the back here will get mounted here, and it just fits inside the battery compartment with just drilling these holes for this cable. So we'll do that next. Okay, I've got my block of wood and the battery cover and the pattern that will be included in your instructions, and you can cut this out, and we're going to paste it with tape, just some scotch tape, regular scotch tape, onto the back, and this will be the pattern that we use to find our hole locations. You want to line the outside edge up with the edge of the battery cover, and then just center up the paper on the flat back of the battery cover there. I'm going to start with a 7/64 hole, the small one, and I'm going to drill the 2 screw holes using that and just a hand drill. What you want to do is we will use this bit also to drill the pilot hole for the center larger hole. Always use safety glasses and extreme caution when you're using power tools and drilling. Okay, that looks like about the right spot. No need to use excessive speed, just nice and easy. Drill through this plastic pretty easily. And then the center is marked on the big hole, and I'm going to use this guy as a pilot hole just to make sure I find the right center. There we go. Alright, now we're going to use a step bit, and if you want, I'm going to go ahead and remove the pattern so it's not in my way while I'm using the step bit. These bits are great for drilling in thin material. They can adjust to any size all the way up to, this one goes close to 1 inch. I have the 1/2 inch line marked, so I'm going to drill through all these steps and then also drill this marked line and then stop there. All right. Okay, center hole is the mounting hole. I'm going to start it using this bit here, going the right direction. All right, that's one step. Now I'm going to take it over this taller block of wood and drill it out till it's the right size. All right, nice and easy. Remember, left side of the battery cover is where the cavity is just big enough for cable 3 to fit. So make sure you're on the left side. If you do it on the right side, it won't fit. This guy now go in here and mount up just like so. And we'll use the included screws and our Phillips screwdriver. Put those through and mount cable 3. Goes in there. Once this is mounted, you're going to need to use care when you put on the battery cover. It's going to be tight fit, but there is just enough room that this fits inside of it. So just keep that in mind as you use your radio after this is installed. It's not quite the same fit as from the factory. There we go. Just snug that up gently since we're using plastic. Don't want to over tighten things. Here we go. Now we have cable 3 mounted up nice and tight and secure. Next step is to mount this battery cover back on and thread this cable through. I'll get these blocks out of the way and show you that. Alright, we have cable 3 mounted in your battery cover like so. Let's thread this through the hole where the battery plugs in. There's just enough room for this cable to snake through there. Fold that out of the way. Bring it over. The cables are a little bit tight. You can see that. Just get that guy plug into the head tracker in the final connector that has an empty spot. And it'll snug in. All these cables, the only cables that can get reversed are these two, and can't damage the radio by swapping them, but you need to make sure you follow the instructions to get them in the right place. Alright, now what we do is we want to put some tape on here that's included. Put it right on the back side there, won't hurt anything. Just going to stick it right to the back side of our DX7 shell, right where the battery cover or the battery cavity is. It's a little bit tricky if you can see that. I'm just going to stick it right up in the center of that battery cavity, and all that's good to go. Yep. And now I can just gently take care that none of the cables stick out of the shell. Just give it a squeeze. Everything goes down, lines up nice. We're ready to put back the screws and put your DX7 back together. Alright, I've got 6 screws back in the radio, everything's secure, no cables leaking out. Got cable 3 still sticking out here, so you have to take care not to overstress that cable, and take care to get the battery cover on and off once the battery's in there. We're ready to go ahead and plug in the battery. Actually, I'm going to plug it in first before I insert it. This battery's tricky to get on the battery cable. There we go. Now, there's just enough room for this cable, the cable 3, to fit in this cavity, but you need to take care as you do that just to make sure you don't break the cables off. There you go, nice and clean, ready to go, ready for some head tracking. Just as a check, we'll turn on the radio. You can check and make sure this light is solid. It means that everything is connected properly and the transmitter board is getting the data that it needs to get, and you're ready to move on to hook up your head tracker 2 and do some FPV flying.